Of course I'm muted. Doggone boobs, I swear. Thank you, Wolfram, for all of your Modly Mod stuff. Welcome, Lady Tammy and Penny and Jedi Jess and Theresa Angel. I am so sorry that, you had such a medical emergency. I am glad you're back home and on the mend. So absolutely. Alice G, good morning or evening. You know who you are. Chloe's Pig Ear. Audio Coffee, welcome. Yeah, I figured that out. We're having all the boomer moments. Uh, I did not follow this case, but apparently, after a very long deliberation, yes, they have come to a guilty on all five counts. Welcome, Kingdom of Capybaras and Phoenix Fire. So, our first story is unfortunately a sad one. Quincy Jones, music titan who worked with everyone from Frank Sinatra to Michael Jackson, has passed away at the age of 91. Quincy Jones, the multi talented music titan whose vast legacy ranged from producing Michael Jackson's historic Thriller album and thank you for becoming a member of the Church of Mo, Chloe's Pig Ear. We have dark chocolate, dark humor, and sarcasm. The only thing we don't allow is recorders, those plastic hot cross buns things. As a parent of six children, I've been hurt by them. I will file a class action lawsuit because I think the parents of America need that compensation. So he did produce Michael Jackson's historic Thriller album to writing prize-winning films and television scores and collaborating with Frank Sinatra, Ray Charles, and hundreds of other recording artists, has passed away at 91. Jones' publicist, Arnold Robinson, said he died Sunday night at his home in Bel Air, surrounded by his family. Jones was to have received an honorary Academy Award later this month. Quote, tonight with full but broken hearts, we must share the news our father and brother Quincy Jones has passed, the family said in a statement. And although this is an incredible loss for our family, we celebrate the great life that he lived and know there will never be another like him. Jones rose from running with gangs on the south side of Chicago to the very heights of show business, becoming one of the first Black executives to thrive in Hollywood and amassed an extraordinary musical catalog that includes some of the richest moments of America's rhythm and song. For years, it was unlikely to find a music lover who did not own at least one record with his name on it, or a leader in the entertainment industry and beyond who did not have some connection to him. Jones kept company with presidents and foreign leaders, movie stars, musicians, philanthropists, and business leaders. He toured with Count Basie and Lionel Hampton and arranged records for Sinatra and Ella Fitzgerald, composed the soundtracks for Root and In the Heat of the Night, and organized President Bill Clinton's first inaugural celebration and oversaw an all-star recording of We Are the World in 1985, a charity record for famine relief in Africa. In a career which began when records were still played on platters, turning at 78 RPM, top honors likely go to his productions with Jackson. Off the Wall, Thriller, and Bad were albums nearly universal in their style and appeal. Jones' versatility and imagination helped set off the explosive talents of Jackson as he transformed from a child star to the king of pop. On such classic tracks as Billie Jean and Don't Stop Till You Get Enough, Jones and Jackson fashioned a global soundscape of disco, funk, rock, pop, R&B, jazz, and African chants. For Thriller, some of the most memorable touches originated with Jones, who recruited Eddie Van Halen for the guitar solo on the genre-fusing Beat It, and brought in Vincent Price for the ghoulish voiceover on the title track. Thriller sold more than 20 million copies in 1983 alone and has contended with the Eagles' greatest hits from 1971 to 1975, among others, as the best-selling album of all time. Quote, if an album doesn't do well, everyone says it was the producer's fault. So if it does well, it should be your fault too, Jones said in an interview with the Library of Congress in 2016. Tracks just don't suddenly appear. The producer has to have skill, experience, and the ability to guide the vision to completion. A list of honors and his awards fills 18 pages in his 2001 autobiography, Q, which includes 27 Grammys at the time, now 28, an honorary Academy Award, now 2, an Emmy for Roots. He also received France's Legion d'Honneur, the Rudolph Valentino Award from the Republic of Italy, and a Kennedy Center tribute for his contributions to American culture. He was the subject of a 1990 documentary, Listen Up: The Lives of Quincy Jones, and a 2018 film by daughter Rashida Jones. His memoir made him a best-selling author. Born in Chicago in 1933, Jones would cite the rhythm or the hymns his mother sang around the house as the first music he could remember, but he looked back sadly on his childhood, once telling Oprah Winfrey that, quote, "There's two kinds of people, those who have nurturing parents or caregivers and those that don't. Nothing's in between." Jones' mother suffered from emotional problems and was eventually institutionalized, a loss that made the world seem senseless for Quincy. He spent much of his time on the Chicago streets with gangs and stealing, fighting. "They nailed my hand to a fence with a switchblade, man," he told AP in 2018, showing a scar from his childhood. But music saved him. As a boy, he learned that a Chicago neighbor owned a piano, and he soon played it consistently himself. His father moved to Washington State when Quincy was 10, and his world changed at a neighborhood recreation center. Jones and some friends had broken into the kitchen and helped themselves to a lemon meringue pie when Jones noted a small room nearby with a stage. On the stage was a piano. "I went up there, paused, and stared and tinkled on it for a moment," he wrote in an autobiography, "and that's where I began to feel peace. I was 11, and I knew this was it for me, forever." Within a few years, he was playing trumpet and befriending a blind young musician named Ray Charles, who became a lifelong friend. He was gifted enough to win a scholarship at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. Berkeley is spelled differently for the Boston one. I'm not a big musicologist, so I didn't know that there was another Berkeley, but dropped out when Hampton invited him to tour with his band. Jones went on to work as a freelance composer, conductor, arranger, and producer. As a team, he backed Billie Holiday. By his mid-20s, he was touring with his own band. "We had the best jazz band on the planet, and we were literally starving," Jones told Musician magazine. "That's when I discovered that there was music and that there was the music business. If I were to survive, I would have to learn the difference between the two." As a music executive, he overcame racial barriers by becoming a vice president at Mercury Records in the early 1960s. In 1971, he became the first Black musical director for the Academy Awards ceremony. The first movie he produced, The Color Purple, received 11 Oscar nominations in 1986, but to his great disappointment, unfortunately didn't win. In a partnership with Time Warner, he created Quincy Jones Entertainment, which included pop culture magazine Vibe and Quest Broadcasting. That company sold for $27 million in 1999. He's had such a full life. I mean, this goes on. I would keep you here for another 5 minutes, but to live a full life and to, have your family surrounding you when you pass away, I don't know that we can ask for anything more in this life. To live a good life, to try to be a better human being every morning when you wake up, it's pretty good to, have that as your ending, I think. So I hope that his family is getting all the support they need. And I'm sure many people that he touched their lives through music or sound are probably a little bit sad today. Oh, snap. Well, would you stop being a butthole computer? That would be great. Updates in the Daniel Penny trial. Witnesses testify in the subway chokehold case. I need to check on this to see if it's being streamed. I would like to check. I would like to kind of cover this. I know that there are political overtones in this and, racial overtones and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's a case and we can, I think, watch it objectively or at least look at updates and see if the state proves its case, which, considering they gave the other two people who held this man's the man, Jordan Neely, or the gentleman who passed away. I'm having a terrible name day. I am sorry. But the 2 gentlemen that held his arms got, uh, self-defense dispensations, but Daniel Penny is the one. Grr. Kathy Hochul is a Skeksis, changed my mind. She has sucked many gelflings clean, and she will not make them stream trials, both of which are egregious. A Manhattan manslaughter trial is underway against Daniel Penny, now 26, a Long Island native and Marine Corps veteran, charged for placing New York City homeless man Jordan Neely in a deadly chokehold on the subway in May 2023 after Neely made disturbing threats on the train. So it looks like 2 hours ago, quote, "You're going to kill him," a witness says he warned Daniel Penny during a fatal chokehold. A Brooklyn man who was riding the F train at the time of Daniel Petty's fatal chokehold has testified that he never felt threatened by Neely at any point, and that Penny ignored his pleas to let the man go. Larry Goodson, 51, told jurors that he noticed Neely defecating and urinating himself as Penny continued the hold for several minutes. Quote, "I said he's defecating or urinating on himself. You need to let him go. You're going to unalive him," Goodson testified. Goodson has ridden city trains for 50 years and told jurors that Neely was not threatening, which conflicts with Penny's lawyer's claim that Neely threatened strap hangers. "I was not threatened. Uh, I was not fearful. This individual was not threatening me." We have to remember that all these quotes come from the state's case in chief. So it does look like they were shown the video. It does look like Jordan Neely's father left the courtroom when they were showing the video, but this is the state's case in chief. So this is the state making its best case that this was, manslaughter and not, self-defense. Awesome, Jedi Jess. I will have to keep up with this because I do wonder how this case is going to turn out. I do wonder about how jury selection went and everything like that. And I do wish that New York would give us a bit more than that. Uh, it does seem interesting, again, that 2 other people were given self defense, but not Daniel Penny. There are a lot of things. This seems very political to me. As far as him getting charged because he did not receive any charges until there were mass protests. And I think if the if the judicial system can be swayed by protest, we're getting into a really scary time because a person can be smart. A group of people in a mob are generally not smartish and don't have, forward thinking, critical thinking, or, any idea what they want. Oh, for the love of all that is Cheetos. And well, in today's episode of Troopers Behaving Badly, a New York State trooper's claim that he was shot in the leg during a Long Island traffic stop is now under an internal probe. Holy eyebrows, what is this? Oh, sir, you do need a hat. You need that big hat. See. I see now. A New York State trooper's claim that he was shot in the leg during a Long Island traffic stop last week is now under investigation due to, quote, certain inconsistencies, end quote, tied to the case, authorities said Monday. Cops have been hunting for a gunman ever since Trooper Thomas Macia, 27, reported he was struck by a bullet during a stop on the Southern State Parkway in New Hampstead last Wednesday night. But state police spokespeople on Monday said that investigators were now no longer looking for the Dodge Charger that Macia said was involved in the ordeal, and they've launched an internal probe. Well, are you a fan of Trooper Proctor? Just asking for a friend. Quote, state police is conducting an investigation into the circumstances of the shooting involving Trooper Macia that was reported on October 30th, police said in a statement. This remains an ongoing investigation, and further specifics will not be released at this time. Authorities also executed a search warrant at the injured trooper's home first thing Monday. Nassau County District Attorney Ann Donnelly said her office was actively investigating certain inconsistencies tied to the shooting. Dude had an accidental discharge in his leg. I'm just guessing. This is pure speculation. This is speculology. But that's my guess is someone had a police sources said that investigators are looking into whether Massa actually shot himself. Macia, who was released from the hospital last Friday to much fanfare, was said to be undergoing a psychiatric evaluation. The trooper reported that a suspect had opened fire on him as he approached the vehicle parked on Parkway's median at about 11:30 p.m. Quote, shots fired. I'm hit. I think my kneecap is broken. Macia is heard saying on the police radio. The trooper said he thought the driver needed help and wrote down the license plate before hopping out of his cruiser. Another trooper responded to his call for help and rushed an injured Macia to Nassau University Medical Center where he underwent surgery. Investigators last week put out a $10,000 reward for any information tied to the shooting, as police and the troopers' union quickly condemned it, saying the perp needed to be brought to swift justice. We are sickened by the actions of this cowardly individual who thought nothing of shooting a trooper who was simply doing his job, the PBA union statement said. We thank the medical providers who are providing our brother with the care he needs. We will support him as he makes what we hope is a speedy recovery. This incident underscores the dangers our members bravely face every day in the service of all New Yorkers, and it is a reminder that any interaction has a potential to turn deadly. Well, something doesn't smell right here. So I'm guessing this will be updated in a little bit, as far as anything goes with, this. I will try to keep you guys updated. In I would rather have met Bigfoot, damn it. A quote unquote chance encounter in the wilderness led to a man unaliving the victim with a piece of wood, screwdriver, and an axe inside the tent. So, this is the story that I brought you that was originally thought to be a bear attack or some kind of wild animal attack until they looked a little closer and saw, all the stabulations with all the, objects that a cat can't use. And it's so senseless. Sometimes, unfortunately, like I say, evil does not need a reason. Evil doesn't need to have logic. Evil is just evil. And we always want a reason for this. We always want, something to make sense of the chaos that evil, causes. And I'm glad that they found this person. He is innocent until, adjudicated and all that jazzy jazz. But the sudden and unexpected loss of a family member is one of the hardest things, and I hope that his family is doing okay and being supported. Cops arrested a 41-year-old man for murdering a random victim who had invited him into his tent to have a beer out in the Montana wilderness. Darren Christopher Abbey is facing a deliberate homicide charge along with 2 counts of tampering with evidence in the death of 35-year-old Dustin Kirchham. I am probably completely butchering this name, but y'all, I don't know. It's got a K and a J right next. Jersum? Kinjersum? I don't know. According to Gatlin County Sheriff Dan Springer, Abby confessed to detectives to murdering Dustin. I'm just going to call him Dustin because I don't know how to say his last name, who was camping October 10th in the Moose Creek Canyon area. Dustin was planning to pick up his girlfriend the next day for a weekend of camping. He had set up a walled tent with beds, a wood stove, lamps, and other supplies. Yeah, I'm gonna have to hooked on phonics this because I'm gonna have to chat GPT Siri this one because I don't know. Now, during the evening of October 10th, Abby arrived in the area with the intention of camping as well, Springer said. As he approached the site, he realized someone was staying there. He stated Dustin welcomed him to the campsite and offered him a beer. Springer said at some point this individual struck Dustin with a piece of solid wood, then stabbed him in the neck with a screwdriver and ultimately hit him with an axe. Abby allegedly then removed several items from the campsite he thought he touched, including a cooler, rifle, and the axe. Bozeman CBS affiliate KBZK, citing court documents, said Abby washed off the axe and screwdriver in a nearby creek. He also reportedly returned to the scene of the crime the next day to retrieve his hat. But one item that Abby did not remove was the beer can from which he drank. Criminals are stupid. Detectives submitted the can to the Montana State Police crime lab. On October 25th, it came back with a DNA hit to Abby. The next day, cops took Abby into custody in the Butte area. By all accounts, this homicide appears to be a chance encounter, said Springer. There does not appear to be any connection between our victim and our suspect. Thank God he left that can, because these are the hardest cases to, solve, because you really have nothing from a victimology standpoint and, unsub standpoint, or, the suspected unnamed person. I watch way too much crime and true crime stuff. But I mean, if he hadn't left that can, if he had actually remembered, it would have been very difficult, unless someone knew that he was planning to go camping there, to have linked this gentleman to this crime. So I am glad that he was smart enough to get his hat, but dumb enough to leave the beer he drank out of. Springer said that there was no known motive for the crime, though the affidavit reportedly stated that Abby claimed it was self-defense. The sheriff believed Abby was just trying to get away with murder. As Law and Crime previously reported, when Dustin failed to pick up his girlfriend on the night of October 11th, she and another friend went looking for him. They found his tent shortly after 10 a.m. on October 12th, about 2.5 miles up Moose Creek. Oh my gosh, this poor girlfriend. They looked inside and found his deceased body with all the many injuries. The caller then, they called 911, and they indicated that Dustin might have been a victim of a bear attack because, he was, I'm guessing these are awful crime scene video or photos, and my heart goes out to the friend and the girlfriend who had to see this. I can't imagine dealing with the shock, the horror, and when you're not expecting any of it. Take as much time as you need to heal from this. This is not gonna be an easy thing, so I hope she is getting support and help to move through this, because I can't imagine. But when Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks agent investigated, he saw no bear activity around the scene. Detectives determined that Dustin died of chop wounds and was the victim of a homicide. Springer told reporters, while the area is remote, is popular with hikers and campers. As investigators searched for a suspect, deputies released photos of the victim's truck along with a Yeti cooler and an axe. After the arrest, the suspect led the cops to the evidence identified in prior press releases. The homicide has put the community on edge. Investigation into this homicide continues. I believe the suspect acted alone and there is no longer a threat to the community. Further details and charges are coming, but it's important for the community to know we are safe to resume, outdoor activities. Dustin's sister, Julianne Price, said in a press conference that her brother was a hardworking, skilled tradesman who built and remodeled houses. Quote, we lost our brother, our son, our uncle, our best friend in the most unimaginable way, she said. He was loving, helpful, and adoring father who in no way deserved this. Just God bless those kids. This is not the way you want to lose your father. You never want to lose your father. And to have it be such a horrible, senseless, evil, demonic act is just gross. Now, I did promise a Delphi update, and we have the neuropsychologist for the defense actually tested Richard Allen, which is something that the state's, clinician did not do with any sort of, objective testing. Neuropsychologist who tested Richard Allen says he did not fake his psychotic behavior. Defense attorneys in Richard Allen's murder trial in Delphi continue making their case Monday in Carroll County Courthouse. Allen, 52, we kind of already know this, but he is alleged to have unalived and kidnapped Abigail Abby Williams and Liberty Libby German. On Saturday, jurors watched silent camcorder footage of Richard Allen during his time at Westville Correctional Facility. As they watched, the screen was turned away from members of the public and media. His attorneys said that they wished to hide the videos out of respect for Mr. Allen's dignity. The special judge Francis Gold agreed. Jury members seemed visibly upset by the footage. Journalists from the Indianapolis Star and the Lafayette Journal-Courier continue to cover the case as it moves through the system. I would recommend Defense Diaries, Andrea Burkhart, not any mainstream media. Yeah, he has aged quite terribly. Jurors saw a glimpse of Allen's life in his cell at Westville Correctional Facility. Condensed videos taken on April 12, 2023 and May 25, 2023 were shown to jurors over the state's objection. One juror frequently averted his eye from the screen as the video from April 12, 2023 was shown. Others were taking notes. As the video was shown, Max Baker, who works for defense attorney Bradley Rozzi and who compiled the videos, testified. During cross-examination, Carroll County prosecutor Nicholas Randall McClelland, because he reminds me of Randall from Recess, you know, that little snivelly, he and Judge Gold are like Miss Finster and Randall, just Randall. Now, Carroll County prosecutor Nicholas McClelland, never one to, waste an opportunity to be a dill hole, asked Baker if he had handpicked the worst videos to imply that Allen was a victim. Baker acknowledged that Allen was not the victim in this case, and he said he picked videos that would show aspects of Allen's life in prison. Yeah, that was a comeback, really great. These included, okay, this is graphical, you guys, but I'm just telling you what he did. Eating his own waist and banging his head repeatedly on the wall. On the redirect portion of Baker's testimony, Rozzi asked, "Did you pick these videos to show the jury the truth?" "Yes," Baker responded. One of the jurors asked Baker if the defense attorneys directed him to compile the worst videos. Baker said that he had discretion on which videos to pick. The neuropsychologist, Polly Westcott, a Carmel-based neuropsychologist, testified Monday that Allen did not fake or exaggerate his bizarre behavior while he was at Westville Correctional Facility. Instead, Westcott told jurors that prolonged isolation and lack of meaningful contact with his wife exacerbated his mental illness. Allen arrived at Westville Correctional Facility with depression and anxiety, Westcott said. He also has a dependent personality disorder, a mental health condition that involves an excessive need to be taken care of by others. Westcott said that after months of solitary confinement and distance from his wife, to whom he is most dependent, his depression became much more pronounced and escalated to psychosis. Westcott said she watched all the videos of Allen in prison, listened to his calls from prison, met with him separately and his wife, so separate interviews. These are all things that Monica Walla did not do. So she didn't do any subjective testing, any objective testing. She's not credentialed for that, first of all. And she barely knew what medicine he was on. I have never seen such gross ridiculousness in my entire life. She also she also said she did tests and conducted them on Allen and showed he was not faking symptoms. There are tests that are designed to show malingering. Think back to Letitia Stalk or Amber Heard, where they scored off the yin yang for malingering. That means just faking your illness. Walla had testified earlier, so this is the state's witness about Allen's history with depression and anxiety. She too said that he showed signs of dependent personality disorder, but she also testified that Allen was feigning his bizarre behavior. Now, I don't normally fall back to authority, but Dr. Westcott has years and years and years more experience and credentials than Dr. Walla. And I'd rather trust someone who's done more independent research, actually, tested this man instead of just listened to him and joined every true crime, community about the Delphi case while she was, helping him. I I have just been flabbergasted. Now, I do know, according to Scuttlebutt, take this with a grain of sand, but I do believe, or salt, I do believe that one of the jurors is a psychologist. So this is actually probably very good. The defense noted during Westcott's testimony that she, unlike Walla, conducted objective testing on Allen. During cross examination last week, by defense attorney Bradley Rossi, Walla acknowledged that she followed Allen's case with interest during her personal time, even as she treated him, a fact she mentioned to her supervisors. But Walla, a true crime fan, also said she followed other cases and she was able to separate her personal curiosity from her treatment of Allen. X to doubt. Westcott also reviewed Walla's reports of her sessions with Allen and noted that Walla's notes were written in narrative storytelling manner with a beginning, middle, and end. This, Westcott told jurors, is inconsistent with Allen's actual behaviors during the sessions with Walla, videos of which Westcott said she reviewed. Westcott was called not just to contradict Walla's testimony, but also to establish that the dozens of confessions from Allen that were made in the middle of his mental health crisis should be, really considered. This should be a factor that the jury takes in. They are going to be the finders of fact. Allen allegedly made 60 incriminating statements to Walla, to the warden, to inmates and guards who were assigned to monitor him while he was on unaliving watch. During cross examination, Stacy Diener asked if Allen's dependent personality syndrome can cause him to transfer his attachment to someone else if his wife isn't around. Diener noted at some point Allen pleaded with Walla not to leave him and told her, "You're like my wife." This man didn't get any physical or any sort of human contact except for Dr. Walla. If he had a slight dependent personality, of course he is going to transfer that to Dr. Walla because she's the one person that listens to him, even if she is screwing him while doing it. Good Lord. I know I'm getting a little spicy, but this whole case has irritated the ever living snot out of me. Westcott says that doesn't mean that Allen had transferred his attachment to Walla, although he did see her as a confidant. Westcott also said that what someone sees while they're suffering from psychosis is not consistent with the world around them, although she acknowledged they could still make some accurate statements. So there you go. That is the Delphi update. I am waiting patiently for Andrea Burkhart to get on and kind of give us an idea of what is going on in the trial, in the case, and how the jury reacted. Um, well, in sports ball references that I don't know, Rams, WR wide receiver, gonna guess, Puka Nakua was ejected for punching Seahawks, LB Terrell Johnson. I have no idea what an LB is. I'm doing great with this sports section, you can just imagine. My mom is raging somewhere in the background because she's a big, oh gosh, Sooners fan. Linebacker. Thank you, Puddletown. I was like, "I have no idea, some guy in other tight pants." The punch took place as the Seahawks held a 6-3 lead. I'm trying to get to a picture because they get kind of irritated with you if you play the video, but let's see if we can Okay, I alrighty. So, Rams wide receiver Puka Nakua was ejected on Sunday for throwing a punch at Seattle Seahawks linebacker Terrell Dotson in the Los Angeles 26-20 overtime victory at Seattle. The punch took place as the Seattle Seahawks held a 6-3 lead late in the second quarter. Matthew Stafford targeted Nakua on a downfield pass on the first and 10 from Los Angeles 44 line. You guys, I am reading this. This is like when I did trigonometry, and I know these words mean things. I'm just not sure what they are. Cornerback Tariq Woolen intercepted the ball at the Seattle 25-yard line and was down by contact. Woolen tried to return the ball, apparently not realizing he was down. Dawson engaged with Nakua to block him as Woolen ran with the ball. Nakua, apparently realizing that the play was over and frustrated by the turnover, punched Dawson with his right fist on the side of his helmet. Well, now you just broke your hand. I don't know if you need that for, whatever position you're doing, but if you're a receiver, I would think you catch the ball and sure, break your hand because you're a dumbass. Officials saw the punch and flagged Nakua for unnecessary roughness. They ejected him from the game, but Nakua did not immediately leave the field. He sat on the bench for several moments before eventually jogging to the locker room with 17 seconds in the half to to a round of boos from the Seattle crowd. The turnover and penalty put Seattle with the ball at its own 40-yard line with 27 seconds remaining in the half. The Seahawks responded with a three-play, 60-yard drive that ended in a 24-yard touchdown pass from Geno Smith to Jackson Smith Njigba. Okay, so sports people did sports thing and someone got punched and he left the building. There you go. Congratulations. It seems like they made a touchdown thingy. We are doing a sports segment from now on. Oh my God. Ah, the absolutely disgusting reason why humans started kissing, and it has nothing to do with love. Sharing mouthwash? No idea. Let's figure this out, guys. Kiss your assumptions goodbye. You may think you know why humans enjoy smooching with one another, but a new study published this month has revealed the real history behind why we lock lips. Research conducted by Adriano R. Lamiria, an associate professor of psychology at England's University of Warwick, concludes that kissing was once an evolutionary instinct, something done to groom another being. Well, I mean, that has something to do with love. I mean, you're taking care of your community. I mean, I'm not going to French kiss my male person, but I am going to like give them a high five and a nice, gift on Christmas because you know, part of being a nicest human. Evidence supports that kissing isn't derived as a signal of affection in humans, Lemuria, who believes that kissing was once part of lice removal. Well, I take it all back. Lice removal is gross. Let's stop kissing right now. In fact, I'm going to tell my teenage daughters this so they never want to kiss anyone ever. Mom, win. Uh, Instead, it represents a surviving, devoted, or devolved vestigial form of primate grooming that is conserved its ancestral form, context, and function. According to the study of ape behavior, kissing is likely the conserved final mouth contact stage of a grooming bout when the groomer sucks the protruded lips of the fur to, get all of your whiskers clean from lice. Well, I mean, this made grooming an important hygienic process given the high parasitic load on the ground. But as humans evolved with less body hair, grooming became less necessary. No, it became more necessary. Wear daggone deodorant, okay? Wear deodorant. I don't care who you are. Patchouli oil does not count as deodorant. It just smells like patchouli oil, Fritos, and BO. Please, for the love of God, put on some deodorant. Anyone, everyone. So there you go. We started kissing to remove lice from hair whiskers. I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna make a Hallmark movie out of that, but I think they could do it. Also, still gonna tell my teenage daughters that this is how this evolved because maybe, just maybe, we'll get all 3 of them out of high school without no baby mama drama. Lord Chippy, attendance, we have a new contestant. In fact, we have 2 contestants, if you ask me, because the mom who stayed with this absolute dumpster fire demon, should be absolutely horrified. Reset to a newborn. Mother's fiancé bear hugged her infant son to get him to stop crying. What an absolute douche canoe, lowest form of humanity. I'm setting Lord Chippy to absolute slow and reverse and then forward and then back for you, sir. A 10-month-old Missouri boy continues to recover from critical head and body trauma allegedly suffered at the hands of his mother's fiance. I will say that this man is innocent ish until proven guilty ish. But some things due process. I know I go from Richard Allen where I'm like, due process, due process. And then I see this, like, my girly hormones are all over the place, but this is not a whodunit. So I'm kind of like pitchforks. I don't like kids hurt. I don't like them hurt. The child, publicly identified only as baby Wayland, was released from the hospital some 6 weeks after police say suspect 28-year-old Jordan L. Boggess dropped the boy while tossing him in the air and bear hugged him until he stopped crying. What a flippin' flamin' moron. Lowest form of humanity. Even parasites are better than you. I would rather have a tapeworm in my house, sir, than you. Whalen has suffered lifelong injuries, his father told Springfield NBC affiliate KYTV. He's had to relearn how to lift his head up and sit up. He's basically been reset to a newborn, Tyler Burbridge said. The Newton County Sheriff's Office responded shortly before 8 p.m., September 14th, to a home on Spring Street in Newtonia for a baby that wasn't breathing. When first responders arrived, they found the boy unconscious, but he was breathing. Paramedics rushed the boy to a hospital in Joplin, and they transferred him to a children's hospital in Kansas City. Once there, nursing staff noted bruises on the boy's forehead, ear, and a probable cause arrest affidavit said he was, quote, too critical to do a full body x ray, but doctors did perform a CT scan, which showed 2 small brain bleeds and collapsed lungs. Collapsed lungs, you disgusting prick. Do you know what a real man does? A real man protects those little around him. He is a shield for his family, for children, for small, fluffy animals. You are not a man, sir. You have been excommunicated from the man thing. You are now just a male douche canoe of the highest orders, and your dead eyes disgust me. Uh-huh. Yes, we have a happy story, I promise, or at least a funny story. Detectives went to the home and contacted Bogus, who was sleeping after receiving his Miranda warnings. Bogus told the deputies he was laying in bed watching TV when the boy's mother went to the bathroom. Bogus or Boggs, I don't I don't care to pronounce your name correct. Douche Canoe Supreme said the boy was in his jumper and had just vomited and was screaming. Douche then claimed he lifted the boy and began tossing him in the air because, yes, a child just vomited and is crying, and the first thing you should do is throw it into the air so it can spew everywhere. So, in an attempt to comfort him, he was throwing him in the air. He did admit that Waylon fell on his head the second time he threw him up in the air. Quote, Jordan admitted that after the child fell on the floor, he panicked and bear hugged the child a little hard until he stopped screaming. Cops wrote Jordan asked if it was tight, and he said yes. Jordan admitted that he might have hurt him when he squeezed him. Sorry, I think I had a stupid seizure because that's the dumbest thing I've ever fucking heard. Excuse my French. Don't like kids hurt. Doctors determined Wayland had suffered abusive head trauma and physical abuse, the affidavit said. Detectives arrested this douche canoe on a felony CA charge. He remains in the Newton County Jail without bond. Thank crubs. I mean, thank Jesus that they're not going to let this monster out. Wayland was discharged from the hospital on October 24th and is currently recovering with his mom. Our main focus is on Wayland, on him recovering and him striving to get stronger. Now, ma'am, I have a couple questions. I am not trying to. If this was a bad relationship in which you felt unsafe, I've been there. I've had small children that I had to leave because the situation was getting too volatile. I looked at those children and realized it was not safe for them to be there. You invited this man into your home, and I know you probably feel extreme guilt, but this can't have been the first time he showed a short fuse with your son or with situations in general. Alrighty. So we've got a funny story to end. Well, funny, not funny, but hopefully that was a shitty story, but hopefully this one won't be, or at least we didn't have to clean it. Porta potties fall off truck during morning commute in Massachusetts. Commuters on a busy Massachusetts roadway faced a stinky situation Monday morning when two portable toilets fell off a back of a truck. The truck failed to clear the low situated Massachusetts Avenue. One second, my middle daughter is calling. Middle daughter's child is our middle daughter, her car that she got from my parents. We're not sure if it's the battery or the alternator. Her lovely boyfriend can fix the alternator if we can find where one is. I need to take it to AutoZone, have them test the battery and the alternator, but she's got a social schedule that's like a freaking insanity. So, it's trying to get that there, and then she's like, "I just wanted to let you know my car started and I'm coming home." So, she was doing the good kid thing of keeping me informed and heads up about it, but it was still like, "You guys know I'm on a stream." But I'm glad she called. Let's see. So the truck driver failed to clear the low situated Massachusetts Avenue overpass on Memorial Drive in Cambridge during the morning commute, knocking two porta potties off the truck and into the road. The truck initially left the scene but returned about 20 minutes later to collect its smelly cargo. The incident was an example of what is known locally as starrowing, named for Boston's Starrow Drive, which features multiple low clearance bridges that are often struck by overheight vehicles. And I have one more for you guys because this just looks like a story that's tailor made to make us not remember bad things. Well, it was a shit show quite literally. Orcas splash poop onto the audience in SeaWorld San Antonio. It's a it's a it's a waste, oriented stream. I love when I just out of the blue pick stories that randomly go together. Like, we've had a bunch of poo stories here lately, so, it's it's a gift, it really is. Audience members attending an orca show at SeaWorld San Antonio got more than they bargained for when the killer whale defecated in his pool and splashed the crowd with soiled water. See, this is what happens when you don't free Willy. I'm a kid of the 90s. We had two damn shows. Free Willy, free all of these orcas, or you will continue to get pooed on. Alex Bermudez posted a video to TikTok showing the orca swimming in a glass walled pool with a cloud of whale poo following behind it. The oceanic mammal then splashed the poo filled water onto the crowd of and SeaWorld employees, eliciting a mixture of shock, disgust, and amusement. SeaWorld San Antonio has yet to comment on the incident. You know, if I was their publicist, I'd be like, come to a real live shit show. Orcas. The shit show continues. I mean, to be fair, they probably wouldn't let me be their manager, but or their marketing person, but that's what I would do. I think this is freaking hilarious and gross. I mean, if it happened to me, I would have to burn all of my clothing that day, rub myself in Purell, and like run around spraying holy water on myself. SeaWorld announced in 2016 that it would end its orca breeding program and phase out animals at its park after the current generation passes away. 5 orcas still reside at SeaWorld San Antonio. Orcas were like, "We would like to go out into the real ocean, thank you. We are tired of seeing you weird people watch us while we poo." To be fair, as a mom, I would love to be able to go to the restroom by myself, but even when the kids are gone, I have 3 or 4 judgmental cats looking at me like I'm the weirdo for not using a litter box because, they think the toilet is another watering source, so they're like, "You're messing with our other water bowl." So, there you have it. Uh, you know, a lot of poo in the news. What can you do? Have a lovely evening. I will be here, I feel that in my soul. I have had to write down the Bible verse that youngest most feral is supposed to learn, and he is not happy that we have to do more boringest work after the boringest thing of prison of school. It's so boringest. Yep, it's about the boringest thing, but he still has to do his homework. So I will see you guys in the morning, and then I am toying around with the idea, so I will probably put up a poll, of doing several streams this week going over the Franks motion in the Delphi case. I know I have videos of it, but this way, if I stream it live, if you have questions or, discussion about any of it, then I will be there to kind of answer those questions or, um try to go over it or find the answers so that you are a little bit more maybe informed because it is quite a meaty document. I think it's 123 pages. So it'll probably be 2 streams, but this way, you know, it's memorization. He came out with 665 on his forehead. We're just hoping that he makes it to purgatory, okay? But that way, it is a really well put together document, and you really get to see maybe the meat behind the third party, uh, you know, theory because they really do take all of it from, the state's discovery that they got. So I will be doing that. I will probably put a stream up for tomorrow or Wednesday. I do have to do grocery shopping because, these children eat all the things, and I wanna make some bacon and French onion soup this week, so I need to get a new crock pot. The things that make you super excited when you're an adult. When I was a kid, I would never have imagined that a new crock pot would make me quite giddy, but it does. Life changes, and then you get real excited about new vacuum cleaners that have a pet hair attachment. It is what it is. Get excited about the pet hair attachment because my cats shed like Chewbacca's. So I will see you guys in the morning. That was a tangent. Bye, you guys. Have a great evening. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others, but carry a can of bitch fire. because take no crap from no one. Bye, you guys.